Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Hyundai i20 N and this is the key of the vehicle. Looks a bit like the Verna key. N is written here and this is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. And straight away let me tell you that this is a real hot hatch because it produces 204 PS of power. Insanely fast and crazy, but we'll talk about that when we are driving this vehicle. Straight away let's open the engine bay. My goodness, it's actually quite heavy, this engine bay. There's insulation there and the heart of the matter is a turbo smart stream G engine, says N right there. In fact, the engine bay is like kind of full right now. Anyways, lot of aesthetic updates on this car. Firstly, this checkered flag treatment on the grille is also there on the N line, says N here. But this car gets full LED lights. Yeah, these are 100% LED lights. Unlike the Indian model, this is the DRL, this is the indicator. Fog light is actually not LED, similar to what's there in India. You get this front splitter as well, and the car has been lowered. This car actually comes with 5 years unlimited kilometer warranty. Hyundai is actually offering this kind of warranty in UK with most of its cars or all of its cars. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, there is a camera here that is actually for the lane keep assist, which unfortunately doesn't work that well. By the way, that is for the rain sensor. So basically this car does not get all the ADAS functions. It only gets lane keep assist and yeah, that's it. Anyways, it also has road sign detection, by the way. Now, the car has been lowered, which I already told you, but from the side you realize it looks quite sporty. In fact, it is longer than 4 meters in length. So no, it's not sub 4 meter anymore. Thing is, because of that aggressive lip at the front, the length has exceeded 4 meters. The basic car is the same as the regular i20 actually. There's a request sensor here, which we do not get in India, of course. Everything else looks more or less the same. However, the wheels are bigger, 215/40/18s. Yeah, low profile tires. And these are specially made by Pirelli. Very grippy, but they also wear out super duper fast. And written here on the wheels, look very nice and tasteful. You get this lip treatment, or rather a skirt treatment here, side skirt are there basically. And it has N written right there. You obviously get a rear disc along with red colored brake calipers there too. It says i20 here, which is obviously there in the regular i20 as well. You can see there's this WRC inspired spoiler, which is finished in gloss black, and so is the shark fin antenna. This is basically for aesthetics, doesn't really do anything in terms of downforce or stability. The lights at the rear are similar. Anyways, it says i20N here. By the way, this is the rear fog light and the treatment at the rear has changed. Okay, you get this sort of a diffuser treatment which looks quite tasteful, gives this car a sexy stance. And there you can see it gets a Valvetronic exhaust. This is actually shut at the moment. That is open, so kind of looks like the face of a pig, sorry to use such words, but that's how the overall design is. But these are dual exhaust sort of treatment, rear parking sensors, reverse parking camera up there. It's a very nice and sporty looking car. It's not a sleeper in any way, because you look at it and you know this is going to go fast. Okay, the door is locked at the moment, I don't know why. So usually you have the buttons here in the Indian model to lock and unlock the doors, but here the button is in the center, so I don't know why they have repositioned it. And there you can see the seats are actually comfortable. N colors right there, beautiful blue stitching all around, 3 adjustable headrests, proper seat belt as well. But space is actually reduced slightly because of these sporty seats at the front, which actually take in some space. No pocket holders or magazine holders. Magazine holders have been given there. There's a USB charging socket. No USB-C in this car, which is a bit disappointing to be honest, and full black treatment, which is kind of nice, of course. Now, N actually stands for Namyang, which is in Korea, South Korea actually, where Hyundai's R&D center is there, or Nürburgring, where they have a technical center, or you can say for chicanes, which also look like N. So yeah, you can decide however you want to interpret N. And it's written there as well on the mats. N written here, lot of N badging all around. You can see the pedals are actually sportier with this sort of chrome treatment, proper dead pedal. Some buttons are different here because you actually get a steering heating function. This is for stop start system, this is for traction control, and this is for the headlight leveler. By the way, it does not get a driver rear view monitor, which we get in India. The seats are really very nice. These are racing seats, not adjustable headrests, because obviously look at the bolstering, kind of crazy. N written there, again N colors. These are amazing seats, absolutely fantastic. And you can see the dashboard design also looks similar to the regular i20. The steering wheel is similar to the i20 N line. However, here you've got a few more buttons. There's this blue ambient lighting all around, which is similar to what we get on the i20 N line as well. And all the switches actually illuminate at night. That's a cool thing. Now, here you can see the instrument cluster is actually different because this is similar to the one on the Alcazar. We'll come to that in a bit. Here everything looks more or less the same. Quality of the dashboard is similar to what we get on the Indian models. The doors also feel very similar to the Indian model. Yeah, kind of feel identical as well. Auto dimming mirror has been given here. SOS button, because obviously it got blue link as well. Here you get a mirror and you get a light on the top and all that stuff. So usual bits which you get on an i20. But you know what? This gear lever seems to come from the IMT model. And then blue stitching has been carried over. Practical bits, wireless charger and everything. This is for seat heating, co-passenger, passenger, drive modes. It's got multiple drive modes as well. And this is for the parking sensors. This is for the parking camera. So some buttons have been placed right there. Now this screen is again similar to the Indian model. You get the usual bits like CarPlay, Android Auto, manual, media, Hyundai Live, which actually lets you see what is the traffic condition, and it also tells you where you can find a parking as well. And I'm just going to get out of the screen right now. Just getting confused. Everything is same. There's no point even talking about it. There's a valet mode, but the interesting bit is this. It has an N mode. Okay, this is the N mode. Before that, let's get into reverse. Reverse parking camera is similar to the Indian model as well. And here you can see it shows you how much throttle you are applying, what's the oil temperature, what's the engine temperature. You get this beautiful speedometer. You can actually shut this to have this bigger as well. I'll actually activate it while driving. And then you have a lap timer, brake pressure. And then you can go into circuit. So there you can choose which circuit you're driving the car, and accordingly the car will do the telemetry and save stuff. Then you can browse like this, okay, and then you can do custom settings for a lot of stuff, and then you can save them on these buttons. Yeah, the N buttons, you can save them here. Okay, there's a G-force meter as well. Look at that, kind of cool. But you know what? You can activate launch control by going here. You can set the RPM at what you want to launch. You can program the shift light as well. And then there's something known as N road sense. Basically, it has road sign detection. When it detects an S sign, it will automatically give a warning or a notification on the right side here on the cluster. And then when you press OK, it activates N mode, thereby telling you, okay, extract the best out of this car. That's also very nice. I really like the way they have done so much attention to detail, and you can customize almost everything here and save them right there on these buttons. There's this button for rev matching. Okay, when you do the rev matching, what it'll do is auto blip, and you don't have to heel and toe. And another interesting bit about these buttons is that when you program it to turn off traction control, you have to actually confirm. So here I've programmed it. Their N mode has been activated, and there is asking me ESC disabled in custom 2 mode settings. I have to hold the custom 2 button, and as soon as I do it, it actually shuts the brake override. Brake override disabled. So basically what brake override does is that it applies brakes so that you don't go out of control, and you do go out of control once the brake override is shut. Okay, here you can see a lot of information. This cluster is just amazing. Okay, right now we are in N mode, so you can see things a little different. On the right here, there's a lap timer. There's a G-force meter, tire pressure monitor, which is usual. What is the turbo pressure? How much torque you're using? So that is also kind of nice. It's absolutely fantastic, but it turns off a system here. I think it doesn't have that system. I don't know why it's turning off the active brake assist or forward collision warning. It doesn't even have it. It's just showing that. Anyway, here you get the oil temperature and the engine temperature, very important parameters. Okay, if I press this button drive mode here, I can get into the regular drive modes, and there are 3 colors for this also. Okay, there are 3 drive modes here, and then you know what, you can browse through all of that. So there's a lot of information, the usual bits which you get to see in Hyundai cars. All this is there, of course, and then it's got cruise control, but it doesn't have adaptive cruise control. Okay, lap timer and all is also there in regular non-N drive modes. So a lot of buttons here. This is to browse through that particular screen. This is for cruise control. This is for lane keep assist, and here for the audio system, of course. Let me do one thing. Let me actually open the window, and there's only one touch down here and up and down. Actually, for the driver side, rest you have to keep it pressed, of course. And these are the controls for the wipers. So this thing has been swapped. You don't get headlight controls here, unlike in the Indian model. Let's use the wipers right away. Yeah, they do a good job. So they have actually shifted this right here, which is basically the norm here in the UK. The horn, kind of meek, not that impressive as such. Anyways, the steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, which is kind of interesting and something you would expect here. And then let me just do one thing. Let me press the N mode there. Okay. Now in N mode, you actually get some data below. It's telling you what is the setting for the engine, for the steering and all that. It doesn't have adaptive dampers, so nothing happens to the suspension as such. Okay. Now the thing is, let me rev it. Ah, it sounds so nice because there are some artificial sounds which are coming inside. Steering feels really very nice to hold as well. And talking about the audio system, it's the same as what you get in India. So there's nothing like revolutionary in that regard, and you can see additional bits right there as well. When you turn off the car, or even when you turn on the car, it shows this beautiful N graphics here on the cluster as well as the infotainment system, which is kind of cool, I would admit. And let's just get outside, and I'm just going to rev the motor. Listen to this, okay? So basically what happens is now that it'll open that exhaust, because Valvetronic exhaust, of course. Anyways, let's start driving right away. We are all set to go, which means turning on the vehicle. I'll not turn it on completely because I want to get into the N mode to make you hear the exhaust of this vehicle. So here, press the N mode, and there the display changes. Okay, we are going to get into the performance options. Shift light, I will reset it. So it says 6,600 RPM, which is the highest over here. Launch control RPM, I'm going to reset, and it says 4,000 RPM is the best RPM to launch. Otherwise, I can take it below 2,000-3,000 RPM, or I can take it all the way to 5,000 RPM. I think 4,000 RPM is apt because that is what Hyundai seems to recommend. Window a bit open. Let's turn on the car. No soft limiter, red lines all the way till 6,500 RPM in neutral. While standing still, a Polo will redline only till 3,500 RPM because of the soft limiter. Alright, handbrake down, air conditioning is off, window up, hazard lights on, because we are going to launch it, which means we are going to use launch control. And here, I'm just going to come to a halt. Launch control active, into first gear. Activation lasts 5 minutes. Hazard lights off, revving the motor. Absolutely bonkers. This car is insane. You can never imagine an i20 which can drive like this. It is just unbelievably wholesome and feelsome, and it has like an old school charm in the way it drives. It's going all over the place because of the very stiff chassis and the road condition not being smooth, although I find them smooth, but they're not really smooth. And then, oh my god, it really pulls. You have to hold on the steering very tightly because it does move around quite a bit. So basically the thing is that it is a hoot to drive. My goodness, around the corners is just unbelievable. We're going to come to a halt, hazard lights on. I'm just going to turn on launch control again, and let's try and launch it. And here we are. Okay, into first gear. Absolute insane pull. So what powers this car? Well, power comes in from a 1.6 liter TGDI engine, which happens to be a turbocharged direct injection motor, which is basically having so much grunt now that it pulls very strong. Listen to the sound, okay? Unbelievable grunt, unbelievable thrust. The steering is so stiff and full of feel as well. You can really corner this fast and hard because body roll is supremely well contained. It just goes through without any hesitation whatsoever. Just look at the way it pulls. My goodness. Oh my god, it rev matches so beautifully well. Oh. In the second, I'm having the time of my life. The only problem is that the engine is not the fastest revving as such, but it really goes very fast around the corners. It has so much feel, you know. They've changed so many things on this car. Like, insane amount of things have been changed. For starters, forget the starters. just get to the main course. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable feel and feedback. Oh my god, I can't even believe the brakes are just so freaking strong. Downshift. Oh, it took me a lot of time to actually reach here, and then all of a sudden I think that I am going much faster to my destination considering what I imagined, because the engine, it really blows your mind. So basically, what is the power from this engine? This 1.6 liter GDI motor is actually making approximately 204 horsepower, and that comes in between 5,500 to 6,000 RPM. That's fine. The torque output is 275 Newton meters. Now that 275 Newton meters, let's just turn on this G-force meter. Okay, that 275 Newton meters comes in at a low 1750 RPM, which is fine, but it actually stays there till 4,500 RPM. Okay, you can see the steering doesn't move as much as a regular i20, so the steering lock has been decreased as well. Oh my god. Okay, listen to this. Okay, lift off. So yeah, 275 Newton meters is what I was saying. I'm sorry I keep forgetting stuff because this car is just unbelievable to drive that you forget almost everything. Okay, here, listen to this. Okay, reduce the revs a bit, rev it to 3,800 RPM. It just has this crazy sound, pops and cracks, everything it's going to give you, and then it's so fast it can actually give you a headache because you have to concentrate so much to drive this car. It's unbelievable. Now the thing is that there's an overboost function which gives 304 Newton meters of torque between 2,000 to 4,000 RPM. So basically 29 Newton meters more torque comes in, and that overboost is available depending on the condition of the turbo, how much more grunt it has, what's the heat levels and all that stuff. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 6.2 seconds, which is very quick indeed. Top speed, well, 230 kilometers per hour. Unbelievably quick, huh? Unbelievably quick. And now, okay, let's do one thing. Let's go upwards. This rev matching function works really well. There's so many freaking settings now, it's unbelievable. And then, you know, low end grunt is a bit lacking here. Doesn't have the best low end, because of which you have to push it. Mid range is really strong, but it's running a very heavy flywheel, because of which there's a small issue. And that issue is that it doesn't rev very fast. Even when you rev it in neutral, the revs drop very slowly because the flywheel is on the heavier side. I think that's done for emissions, so not the fastest revving. And then top end grunt isn't that great. So in the top end it doesn't have that much of a grunt, but you can hear it nicely because it's putting that sound through the speakers as well, so some artificial bits as well. But the drive experience is amazing because the steering is really very heavy. The chassis and suspension are really stiff. In fact, they have stiffened the chassis at 12 points actually. And you know what, they have also stiffened the suspension, lowered it, and they've done so many things to make this car an absolute insane vehicle to drive. My god, it just pulls and pulls so strongly now. It has that soul, that old school charm which is lacking in today's cars. This car definitely has it. I'm just going to come to a halt. Brakes are very strong because bigger brakes on this car. So let's come back to the menu and activate launch into first gear. Activation lasts 5 minutes is what it's saying. And oh my god, that was launch control working finally. It works really well, this launch control system. Well, we are seeing that launch control in a lot of cars these days. It's raining, but there's no issue in terms of grip because it runs on tires which are specifically made for this car. Pirelli has actually specifically made tires for this car, and that grip level is unbelievable as well. So the driving experience is fantastic. The ride is horrendous, I would say, because it's super duper stiff. You can feel almost everything. That is the kind of ride, the stiffness of the ride, and the steering is quite accurate. Now, it's not the last word in terms of feel or feedback, but definitely it has that weight which eggs you to push it harder and harder and harder. And I think we have kind of reached, no, we are on the right road. I thought we reached a dead end or something of that sort. Okay, onto the throttle. You can pick this car in higher gear. Once it is on boost, it just pulls like crazy. The weight is less at 1190 kgs, which is identical to the i20 WRC car, and they say it's inspired by the i20 WRC car. Well, honestly, they can say whatever they feel like, but it's not a rally car, it's more of a sports car or sports hatchback for the track, and there is somewhere it truly excels. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a U-turn here, and you can see turning radius is actually gone for a toss. Yeah, turning radius is actually gone for a toss. Just about manages, and here we go. So thing is that there are a lot of data available here, so what I'll do is I will just actually show you some interesting bits, which means that I have to browse through here, and there you can actually see the speed as well as the RPM. So there's like a amazing infotainment system with all these bits. Here we go. Traction control light is absolutely screaming when you pull it hard and fast. The sound is very engaging on the inside. It's a very fast hatchback as such. Okay, and I think in terms of pricing they've nailed it. So it's 22 lakh rupees here in the UK, which is actually quite value for money because it's just 3,000 pounds more than the Swift Sport, producing a lot more power, like 200 horsepower, front wheel drive. How does it put all that power down? Limited slip differential at the front, that helps it put all that power down. And that also has a small issue that, you know, the steering wheel is not that precise because the LSD, what happens is the LSD can decide where it wants to channel the torque between the front wheels depending on the traction levels, and then when that happens, you know, you have to fight the steering wheel at times. Unbelievable fun. Now there's a bit of fog which is happening, so we will have to turn on the front defogger, that is, and the gearbox is also sharper and sportier. So they've worked on everything, almost every possible aspect to make this a real hot hatch in the true sense. Just going to increase this thing so that this demits really fast. I think we should just come to a halt so that this happens and you can hear the sound better as well. Okay, let's turn off the air conditioning completely. Let's get out of this menu so that I can show you what are the settings which can be changed in this car. We'll activate launch. It is getting activated. Yes, into first gear, revving the motor. Oh my god. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's actually turn off traction control. Here, this is customized the N mode, and absolutely bonkers launch with launch control. So the thing is, a lot of these settings can be changed in this very customizable car. For starters, when I have turned off traction control, now you can hear the wheels are scrambling for grip because there's so much torque going to the front wheels. Well, that is fine. What isn't though is the fact that there's so many settings now that you're going to get super confused. Okay, firstly, these N modes can be configured. So there's custom 1 and custom 2. So there are 2 of those here. You can configure it the way you like it, and you can change the engine into normal, sport and sport plus. You can change the steering into normal, sport and sport plus. You can change the ESC to normal, sport, sport plus, and off as well. It is off right now. The exhaust also to normal, sport and sport plus, and rev matching also has 4 settings: normal, sport, sport plus, and off. So you can just press this button to turn on and off rev matching. Okay, it's not available in custom mode, it's saying, and then some of these modes are not available when you're in eco mode. So in eco mode you cannot have a rev matching, that is. Okay, and all these settings really can confuse you quite a bit. And lane keep assist works really well. All these features actually work quite well. But you really wouldn't care about all these features, would you? What you would care about is the drive experience. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so much fun. It's a car which really puts a massive smile on your face when you drive it. And this is a true hot hatch, which brings me to the question that why is Hyundai not launching this in India? Well, it will cost around 30 lakhs due to the tax structure in India, 1.6 litre engine, right? So obviously the taxes will be higher on this bigger engine, and then all these parts are really high quality. 30 lakh rupees, would you buy it? If you would, then you should ask for this car. Most people would not, and then considering the low volumes, it makes no sense for Hyundai to launch this car in India, period. If there was volumes for this, then Hyundai would definitely launch, and we have seen this with the Polo GTI as well. It did not sell. Now I've driven the Polo GTI, the latest generation one, on the Nürburgring, and trust me on this car is just better than the Polo in almost every way, because the 6-speed manual gearbox is really very engaging. The clutch is not the lightest, but really very sure-footed, and the whole drive experience really makes you feel that you're driving something really special and fun. Pull is so strong in every possible gear. You don't need to reach 6th gear, because when you do, now you would be doing like really high speeds, because this car really pulls strongly. Now, why would Hyundai actually make a car like this? Does it make any sense also to make such a car? Because the segment is dying, everyone is going towards electric, the Clio Sport is no longer there, the Fiesta ST is so good, it's hard to compete with it. Now, why would Hyundai make it at this point of time? Simply because Hyundai wants to prove a point that everyone keeps complaining that Hyundai cars are not dynamic. Well, take this, super dynamic, super sporty, that Hyundai can make such great cars. And you know what, they've actually poached engineers from BMW's M division as well as Mercedes AMG to make this car, and it absolutely puts a massive smile on your face with the performance. Just see the way it goes, even in wet condition. Now there is no loss of traction. That is the level of performance it has to offer. I am super impressed. If this car comes to India, I would be the very first person to actually buy it. That's how good it is, that's how much I like it. And then there are 5 drive modes on offer. Okay, right now we are in the custom modes, the N modes. Otherwise, you can just press this button. See, this is eco mode. This is no, sorry, that was normal mode. This is sport mode. This is eco mode. So if you want to save fuel, you can do that as well. Which brings me to the mileage of this car. This one will return somewhere between 5 to 12 kilometers per liter, depending on your driving style. On the highway, if you drive it sanely now while cruising and all, it can actually push all the way to 15-17 kilometers per liter. But hey, you're buying this car to really have fun. Pull it like crazy, like this. Yeah, it pulls strongly even in these lesser modes. But just imagine the level of grunt it has. Like sport mode also makes it feel very exciting to drive, which means that we should get into the N mode here. Okay, and immediately I could feel that, you know, there's this thing happened. Okay, custom mode 1 here, traction control off, activate launch control activated, revving the motor, and here we go. It keeps doing 6,600 RPM is the red line of this car, which honestly isn't much, but then it doesn't really have a top end as such, has a stupendous mid-range. I can hear the smell of something burning, maybe the clutch, maybe the tires, but such an enjoyable drive. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. I am exhausted, honestly. Yeah, this car can give you a headache, but then it's completely worth it. Bye bye.